to Real Estate Radio Sacramento on 1380 KTKZ. Now in studio, your host, local real estate expert, John Lauer.
Hey, welcome Sacramento to John Lauer's Real Estate Radio, the most important hour of radio every Sunday morning right here on 1380 KTKZ. Well, coming up, we've all thought about owning rental property, but have you thought about owning a mortgage? If not, you'll want to hear why you should. We'll find out why, so stay tuned. You're listening to Real Estate Radio with John Lauer on 1380 KTKZ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Sacramento with local expert John Lauer. Now, here's John.
Forgive me. I must start by pointing out that 3 years after a horrific financial crisis caused by massive fraud, not a single financial executive has gone to jail, and that's wrong.
That is fraud, isn't it? Well, welcome back to Real Estate Radio Sacramento. I'm John Lauer, and our guest today is Terry Bontemps, a mortgage paper specialist. And that little clip that you just heard is part of the reasons why things are really good for Terry right now. I met Terry at a weekend investment education workshop in Stockton put on by Global Realty Investment Services. Global Realty Investment Services does its part to keep the American dream alive by helping people do well by doing good. One very viable solution Global has run across is from Terry Bontemps, who is an expert in purchasing discounted bank notes. Well, Terry, we'll get into your specialty shortly, but tell us a little bit. Let's help people get to know you, your experiences, how you got started, and a little bit of your history.
Well, great, John. Here's kind of what qualifies me to be speaking to you guys today about investing in real estate. I bought my first fixer-upper in 1980 at the age of 20 for about $34,000. Kind of reminds me of today's prices. That was in North Highlands. I lost that house to foreclosure. I lost my credit on that deal. I went out and learned how to make money in real estate without a job, John, without credit, without money, or a real estate license, simply by attending real estate seminars, similar to the one where you met me. I started heavily investing in Sacramento foreclosures in 1999. Marginal success. My big breakthrough came in 2001 when I started buying these subprime non-performing loans. And basically what they were banks were not getting their mortgage payments. And so I would buy that loan. So again, that was back in right after 9/11. So I started buying these loans. I started buying them all across the United States, Arizona, Florida, bought them here in California, Nevada, Illinois, and New York. My largest deal right to this date, I personally work with a bank here in California on a $40 million deal.
$40 million, wow.
That's right. The bank had 176 non-performing loans. They were 90 days plus delinquent, John.
Wow.
Hedge fund that I work with, they put an offer of $22 million to buy that package. Bank refused, but that was the greatest experience I've ever had dealing with these defaulted loans.
So that's kind of where it piqued your curiosity, I guess, at that point. You're thinking, wow, you can get something discounted like that from a bank in a large quantity. Now, today I think we'll talk mostly, although that's very fascinating, I think we'll talk mostly today about individuals and what we can do. I'd like to know on those properties that you found, well, the one you did here for $34,000. I know we can still find $34,000 homes, not in California so much. Might have to go back to the Midwest. But how did you locate some of those properties back then? Was it just by phone calls, or
Well, what happened was the homeowners were upside down. They were upside down in 2001. There was more, they owed more on the house than it was worth. We actually had homeowners walking away back then. So I've already went through a down cycle. So when the property's upside down like that, the bank's going to take the property back. What they do before the foreclosure process goes all the way to the auction, they will sell that defaulted note. Speaking of that, right now, I'm actually working with a hedge fund today. I was supposed to be there today. I started with them yesterday. We're going to be Saturday and Sunday. But they're buying, and I'm a part of the network, they're buying right now at 50% of today's market value buying these mortgages, John. Not only that, they're selling these properties across the United States for about 50 to 55 cents on the dollar of today's value.
So they're buying it in a big bundle, and then they're turning around. I imagine they have to tack something to it, or they've got to do something to make their money, and then they're farming it out to a little bit smaller investor at that point.
That's exactly right, and that's what I'm a part of, is helping distribute some of those properties, and we're keeping homeowners in their house and letting them buy their houses, and we're creating the financing on those. So it's pretty spectacular, John, because we're talking about two things. We're talking about the house, which 95% of people understand, but most people don't understand the paper. They understand being a landlord, but they don't understand being the bank. Once you buy that note, that defaulted paper, you become the bank. You make the rules.
Yep, and it is a different set of rules, by the way, and that's what we'll find out more about today, too. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Real Estate Radio Sacramento, and I'm your host, John Lauer, and we have as our guest today Terry Bontemps. You're listening to Real Estate Radio with John Lauer on 1380 KTKZ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Sacramento with local expert John Lauer. Now, here's John.
Forgive me. I must start by pointing out that 3 years after a horrific financial crisis caused by massive fraud, not a single financial executive has gone to jail, and that's wrong.
Wow, what a way to start the program with that. Well, welcome back to Real Estate Radio Sacramento. I am John Lauer, and we are talking with Terry Bontemps today. Terry offers a non-traditional, effective, and virtually untapped discounted debt purchase strategy. Terry, you came in with a special offer today that I teased before we went to break. Tell us about the offer that you're giving to any of the listeners on the show today.
Well, John, what I'd like to do, I've actually written an ebook that I'm eventually going to be publishing, and what I'd like to do is give every listener that might have an interest in the subject I'm talking about, I'm going to give them my ebook. It's very powerful. It has some internet connections. As I'm speaking about different subjects, you can click the link and be able to tap right into the internet on articles.
Perfect. Love
it's
those.
Great.
So it's kind of backup. Those click on those backup for the information that you're giving at that time.
That's correct.
All right. The free ebook from Terry is entitled "How to Prosper and Safely Make Your Fortune in Real Estate During the Mortgage Meltdown." Plus, you're going to receive a complimentary 30-minute real estate coaching session. So,
That's
Terry,
right.
Boy, you're really putting it out there.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I want to
great,
be able
man.
to help people
It's
right
just
now,
not
John.
the book. So if the listeners tell friends and family and they call in, will you let them also take advantage of this offer? Is it
Anybody.
only okay?
John,
so,
you know,
I
there's
know
lots of
everybody's
people out
listening to the show today, but in
I know
case, okay. So I love to give away other people's stuff, so that's
there.
always
No problem. The more the merrier.
Well, to take advantage of Terry's offer today, call my office at 647-3414 to get on the list to receive Terry's ebook, "How to Prosper and Safely Make Your Fortune in Real Estate During the Mortgage Meltdown." Terry, could you have made that title any longer, man? That was...
No, but it's more, it's realistic. It's very relevant today.
It is. It says a lot. But anyway, plus the free half-hour coaching session. That's 647-3414. Or you can always email me if that's more convenient at john@correctmyscore.com. Well, Terry, with this huge mess, we talked about this a little bit. Maybe we can elaborate some more. But this huge mess in the current economy from the mortgage industry, how do your methods take advantage of this again? It sounds like right now, you're teaching a lot of people, but there's a lot of stuff out there that's a mess to take advantage of, right?
That's right, John. You know, when I started buying these subprime loans back in 2001, I would buy the loan, but I would modify the homeowner's loan so they can keep their house. I've been, again, working with homeowners all across the United States, and that's the primary reason I do this. Now, again, loan modification is not working for most people. Right. But when I'm able to go in and buy that loan at a discount, John, I can modify the loan to even lower the payments and even reduce principal. That's unheard of, and this program is working for us. Let me give you a real